My friends, this is Andy Ditch, and a few weeks ago I uploaded a video on him freaking out at the police while he was in the back of an ambulance and then later at a hospital. And Andy is one crazy, crazy dude who fakes autism. You heard me right. The man on screen right now literally fakes autism. Now, why he does this, nobody really knows, but a lot of people suspect it's like a personal gratification thing. It turns him on, basically. And look, the video you're about to see today is going to be absolutely grating. It's the same word I used in my previous video about this guy, because really it just sums up what he is and who he is. He's a man who's poisoned his family before. A man who has a very odd obsession with diapers and making nurses clean him after he does, that. And he's just a horrible person. And today you're going to see that on full display as he talks to his father about the situation he's currently in. Now, mind you, ladies and gentlemen, that Andrew Ditch is like a nomad now, travels from state to state and ends up in homes with caregivers and basically asks them to do anything because he claims he can't do anything himself. And now today he's going to call his dad for some help and show the entire world how he doesn't give a damn about his family, his mother, his father, his brother, and only cares about these really odd things in his life that would only matter to him, such as his right to wear diapers and how 31-year-old documents truly prove that he does have autism. It's going to be a crazy one today, ladies and gentlemen, so I hope you enjoy it. Oh, by the way, Andy posted this. Yeah, you thought you were getting out of it easy. No, what is that? No, what? Who would post that and why? Okay, so Andy, as we've already mentioned, with the diapers, he has a thing for dirty things, right? And I think that's just him bragging. He posted this same post, I'm pretty sure, 3 times, and he wants people to look at them. Do it. Do it! Look at that! What? Oh my god, viewer retention just dropped like a brick, man. But with that being said, let's hear Andy just be the worst person ever over the phone to his dad.
Talk to you about this.
Alright, try to tell as quickly as possible, but I got things to tell you too, so.
I talked to an attorney today. I talked to a lawyer today.
Okay.
About my issues. I don't have capacity. I need somebody to petition for guardianship to get that set of done. Because APS is telling me you're not my guardian. So, Dad, why did you make those decisions for me?
Well, because, Andy, if you remember, Mom and me are your proxies.
Well, according to APS, you're not.
When we aren't capable of making the decision.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, great. So you're saying that you're my healthcare proxy, you're saying?
Well, that's what you put down.
Okay.
Remember when you were medical, the first thing the doctors ask you is what? Who's your proxy, remember?
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to revoke it. Because you are not cooperating with things.
Do what you want, Andy.
For somebody who just sits around in his diaper all day and types away at the computer with a bunch of nonsense, Andy is in contact with a lot of important people. And by important people, I mean his APS worker, his dad, and possibly a lawyer now. Because Andy wants to find out if his dad is his proxy for him. Andy's trying to get health care. He's been trying for a long time. And he's always calling his dad, asking why he isn't helping enough, when his dad's dealing with his ailing mother in the hospital, or maybe she's home right now, but I know she's in bad shape. And here's just, the millionth example of him trying to make everything about himself. He's saying, well, I'm going to remove you as my proxy, Dad. Because he's always calling with some, anger. He's just got no good intent when calling these people. It's just, what can you do for me? And if you can't do it for me, you're not helping me at all, and I'd rather not have you around.
And I'm moving out of this home because you're not cooperating with things. I have to deal with the consequences for everything.
Cooperating with things.
So I talked to Chelsea's supervisor, and by the way, I'm recording this.
I don't really care what you're doing, Andy. Why am I...
Because, Dad, you don't want to support what my diagnosis is that every expert has said.
Andy, I never said that. Even if you listen once in a while, but you keep changing it and twisting it.
Then why did
I supported you 100% in everything since you've been in New Pain or whatever they come up with or whatever you say. So don't
okay?
Shit. I never said any of this other bullshit, and don't twist it.
Okay.
I will hang up now, and I will never talk to you again.
Dad,
Danielle and Michael.
I want you to help me by calling a phone number that I'm going to give you in a second.
Text it to me.
And I want you to talk to APS's Chelsea supervisor. Because if this is the case, you're going to tell her what every mental therapist that you have taken me to has stated about my developmental disabilities causing me the emotional behavior issues. So that way there we don't have to keep going through this bullshit.
He's horrible in that clip. Really, like, that's the worst of Andy Ditch right there, because it shows he's not only like a liar and someone who only cares about himself, but he's also such a bitch. He's sitting there telling his dad, well, Dad, I guess I'm going to have to get rid of you and stuff. And once his dad actually starts pushing back and is like, fine, do it, I'll never talk to you again, he gets real quiet and somber and, Dad, I just need you to, like, come on, be cool to your dad. Like, why do you gotta act like this every time he calls you? You just seem like all upset and with a list of demands he needs to achieve for you. And he tries doing it in this video here too, telling him, I'm gonna give you this number, you're gonna call them and tell them every developmental issue I've ever had, Dad. And that takes it back to another part of the call where this man dares to say, you've seen every doctor I've been to say I'm autistic or say whatever. But he did say that every doctor they've been to is all agreed Andy definitely has what Andy says he has wrong. And that's not true. We've seen the medical papers. Andy is not autistic, yet he wants his dad to go to a real medical professional and tell them, yeah, well, I was there, you know. Oh, it's not on the paperwork? I was there. I can vouch for him. He's totally autistic, dude. Just take his word for it. See the headphones?
Because they're refusing to accept my medical records and diagnosis. I'm going to tell you that is what you're going to tell them.
Wait a minute. What does Chelsea have to do with your medical evaluation? She's not a medical expert.
Well, Dad, my medical experts who have evaluated me for the last 7+ years that you have taken me to and went in with me have all said I have autism and developmental disabilities, not mental health.
No, kidding me, Andy. So what would you like?
So you are going to tell that to Chelsea's supervisor.
Okay, but is it going to change anything because they already made up their mind, or the doctor made up their mind?
Okay.
You said Daryl was at the place with you yesterday?
Yes.
Did you tell Daryl?
I did, but he's giving me a hard time on bullshit. He's saying I'm doing this to myself and I don't need any help. That's point blank what he said. And I have it on tape what he said. And I have it on tape what the supervisor said to me today. Daryl said that I'm going for a neuropsychiatric evaluation.
Yeah.
To determine my mental health diagnosis, not my developmental issue.
Yeah.
I talked to Chelsea's supervisor today, and I was told, no, it is to see if I have what Dr. Samaria said I have, because there's conflicting information, and they want to see if I have an issue with that or not. I don't mind going for that, but I don't like the attitude that they're doing towards me.
Okay.
He started that clip yet again saying that every doctor has agreed he has autism, and it's crazy for him to say that when his dad's not agreeing with it. Well, his dad is somewhat agreeing with it. You hear him in the sense that, well, Andy, I told him that you're all these things you say you are, and that's just a dad being like, yeah, dude, I'm supporting you. Just, you really think this dude wants to do this? It's his son at the end of the day, but when you have a son like this, he's probably just cursing God for doing this to him. Andy's saying he's autistic when his dad already knows he's not, when the internet at large already knows he's not, and when every doctor he's mostly had knows he's not, is still, like, he still doesn't realize he doesn't have it, when the guy there with him, probably like his health worker, even that guy's saying you don't need help, you don't need to go anywhere. And Andy, at the end of all this, just wants to get out of there. You know why? Because he doesn't like their attitude towards him. Are you serious? Like, how can you... Like, ladies and gentlemen, this is a man who goes to hospitals not because anything is wrong with him, right? He goes because he wants the orderlies, the nurses, to wipe his ass. That is not a theory. That's not something like people presume he likes. He actively likes doing that. He was doing it just as much as like a few months ago in that body cam footage we saw from where was it, Cleveland? Believe it was Cleveland. He claims that their attitude is bugging him when all he's doing is harassing these people 24 hours a day. He acts like he can't do anything. He can't get up out of a chair by himself. He can't wipe by himself. He can't cross the street by himself. Despite seeing Andy in this video here, he's walking around the house. He's all good. He knows to destroy stuff. And even now, in January of 2025, he's over on his YouTube channel frantically writing paragraphs upon paragraphs upon paragraphs about trolls and health stuff and like mental disabilities and also like weird AI shit. Andy has the ability to sit on his computer and do all this all day, but God forbid he has to take a shit because nobody's gonna know how to clean that up. It's like a mess you just can't clean. Now, I don't know if his family ever personally had to wipe his ass, but I'm assuming they did because of living with this guy and hearing him bitch about it all the time. But anytime he goes to like a home or a hospital, those people are probably gonna have to. And it's just so gross that Andy puts people through this for what can only be described as his own like self-pleasure, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think he might get pleasure out of doing this and having people just wait on him hand and foot. Everybody who's ever been around this guy, who's been involved in this situation, knows that this illness he's trying to talk about is fake, but you'll never catch Andy admitting that.
And I don't want to go through APS for that because I feel like they're just going to dick around like Buffalo APS has been doing, because they've been telling all my other providers different shit when I have the records to support my arguments. I want my own doctor. Guys,
earlier, did he say that today?
What?
When we were talking to him, he told me he had to call me back.
I was on the phone with my primary care doctor requesting this. Because I want to go through my own... Because I don't want APS involved at this point. I want to do this without having anything. And I want to give the doctor my medical record so they can do all of the assessments I need, and then I can go back to them.
Yeah, well, I got another question.
Because I don't...
Well said that you're there by APS at the home and
yes,
you can't leave.
Well,
How you
APS...
gonna leave?
Because they told me I get to make those decisions and I can say that at any time. So I said I don't want their help because she's arguing with me.
I think it's about the bullshit, but okay. And did you get your new bed today?
No. Nobody will pick it up.
Nobody will pick it up. What do you mean they gotta pick it up? I thought they'd been delivered.
Well, Dad, it's not going to work if I move out on January 1st.
Alright, but I just asked, do you mind?
Okay, no, because nobody wants to... Nobody will give me the... Nobody will pick it up from me, and nobody will take me for the x-ray. So I'm getting frustrated here.
X-ray.
For my shoulder when I fell out of bed. Dad, I'm having a hard time with APS.
What about a medical cab like you used to get in Buffalo?
I can't.
Why not?
I don't know. Take it up with them. Dad, Dad, my call...
Wait a minute. Will's your worker, right? He's working tomorrow?
Dad, my call right now...
Working tomorrow?
Yes, but Dad, this is not what I need to talk about. Please let me finish the information that I'm talking to you about that I called you about.
His dad is trying to give him advice and wondering what's going on in Andy's life, asking him some questions, but Andy, it seems like every time his dad says anything, he just rolls his eyes and goes, Dad, I need to talk now. And then it's the same thing he says like over and over on the phone about how his dad needs to help him, the healthcare people need to help him, only these specific healthcare people, because he's not going back to, what was it, APS or whatever. At one point, he asks Andy about his new bed, and all Andy can say is, nobody ever got it for me. And I think what he means there, and if I'm wrong, correct me, is that the bed is at this place, but Andy just doesn't want to go get it and set it up because he can't. He can't do that. Like, why would you ever expect Andy to be able to, like, carry a bed, the giant man he is? There's also a point where Andy says he wants to leave, and his dad reminds him that, well, I heard that you can't just up and leave. But Andy claims, well, yes, I can. And in this case, I'm going to take Andy's word for it. Maybe they can't leave. But if Andy's asking to leave, they'll probably be like, oh, God, yeah, dude, like, here, we'll figure out the paperwork later. Just get the fuck on out of here. Go live your life, Andy. We'll miss you. The part, though, that made me get a little, just a little annoyed right there, as I know you guys might find that a little bit hard to believe, as this video is probably annoying everybody, but it's when he said, no one will do anything for me. No one will go get my aforementioned bed, what we just talked about. And also, no one will take me to go get an x-ray on my shoulder because of when I fell out of bed. And oh, poor Andy. Imagine that happens to you, right, chat? Or like something similar. Like, let's put ourselves in this situation. Maybe you're like an elderly woman. Like say you've grown up, you're now in your 70s, and you're sitting on a chair in your kitchen, and you decide, wow, I'm going to try to lean down and pick something up on the floor. And you fall. And then, like, you're trying to get up, you're trying your hardest, you want to get better. You have your equally as elderly husband trying to help you up from this terrible situation. And all the while, you have this fucking oaf across the room in a chair telling the dad that she did it herself, Dad. She can't be trusted. And personally, that right there, Andy continuing to sit his ass in that chair while his mother struggled on the ground only to make fun of her during the process, makes me never care. Like, Andy, you can fall off your bed 2 million times and bump your head. I will never give a shit.
And then can I please talk to you about what this stuff?
I won't forget something, Andy, because I'm very forgetful anymore.
Well, I'm going to forget about everything I need to talk about with you.
All right, then you can talk right now, since you don't want to tell me so.
I can't, because Dad,
go ahead.
I want to answer your question. But I have things I have to talk about, and if I don't get the words out, I'm not creepy to ask, and I will get upset and frustrated.
Yeah, okay.
Please understand that, because I always keep telling you that since I started talking in life.
Just repeat yourself, and let's go.
And you know, I keep telling you that, and you know that. You know that will cause my behavior issues. You're told that by how many speech therapists and audiologists and mental therapists? If I have the words, I need to say it first because of my disability. Please help me. I'm not looking for a fight, Dad. I'm looking for you to help me. I'm not looking to be controlling or demanding. I'm looking for you to accommodate me because of my disability.
You're running around in circles. Let's just get down to the point that you want to talk about.
Okay. So, Adult Protective Services is saying that they don't know if I have incontinence or not, so I don't need to wear diapers. That's what they're telling me. I was told by Chelsea's supervisor that I won't need anybody to my appointment because I don't need diapers or help with that. So I'm refusing to wear my diapers, and I have it on tape. That's what she said. Swear to God. So I said, then fine. I don't want Royal staff to help me because you're telling me I don't need it. And I don't need help with my medicines or supervision. So I want no more help from them, and I won't take my medicines. I swear to God, that's what she said, and it's going on YouTube.
His dad just wants him to get the words out because he doesn't want to go through the same runaround he's been doing for the past, 10 minutes. He has stuff he needs to do, and Andy is pressing him on the fact that his dad needs to hear this, and Andy needs to say it first. And what is that big important thing Andy needs to talk about? Why, fecal incontinence, of course. Well, you see Andy here. They're telling him he doesn't need diapers, and he's been saying for years, oh yes he does. And so Andy, the man who admittedly can't even wipe his ass or can't really, he can't do anything on his own. He's saying, well, if they're saying I don't need diapers, then I won't use diapers. And I just won't take my medicine anymore then. He's always gotta put something on the line. He's gotta threaten his own health, you know what I'm saying? If they tell him no, he's like, well, I better do something very drastic to make them know I'm serious. So the only thing I can threaten them with is bodily harm done to myself. And they never bite. They just sit there and they're like, Andy, you don't need the diapers. You don't need them. And he refuses to hear it. But even here, he's acting calm about it. But deep down, there's a rage festering inside him. He tells his dad, too, at one point, look, I'm not trying to be controlling or demanding. And look, no matter how calm you say it, Andy, yes, you are. You absolutely are. If your dad refuses to do this, you're going to say something really terrible like, oh, well, then I guess I'll never see you again because I'm going to go do something crazy. Every time Andy talks in one of these videos, it seems like he's just putting something on the line. And it always involves himself. Of course it involves him. He's the topic of the video. But he's just such a creepy guy in that sense. And with that, also a dangerous one. Because if he's always threatening to do that, what if one day he does do something drastic? Because again, all Andy cares about is himself. The one time in the last video we uploaded, Andy was laying in front of a bus, just laying in the street. Could have caused a major accident just because he wanted to cause a fuss. This is a problem, man, and it's why he needs to be in one of these houses at all times, but he makes the lives of the workers a living hell, so I don't even know where Andy should end up, because on the streets, in any type of environment inside of a home, in his own home, none of it sounds good. None of it sounds safe, and Andy is just not a safe individual.
I'm getting frustrated because, Dad, there are things in my childhood records that I need to talk to you about. That I'm in the process of writing down to go to my doctor with and to talk about, to get referrals for. In 1993, I was at CPC from June to August. CPC doctors reported all the things I'm going to say. They reported Mom stating that I did very well at language development program. I didn't have issues. I was functioning very well. I was learning to talk. Language development program is what school in Buffalo?
I'm not going to say a word. You said.
Well, Dad, I'm asking you to verify what I'm trying to ask.
Well, you already know, Andy, so go ahead.
Can you please
what?
answer the question, because I'm practicing my speech skills of having a two-way conversation?
I don't want to be practicing. I want to get to the
Dad,
bathroom to call Mom back.
What school is language development program? What do they specialize in?
What do you think? Language? Speech?
Autism?
I don't know, Andy.
Yes. That's the one I'm trying to look at and tell you. Next.
You were there for delayed speech.
But they have it listed as autistic disorder.
Okay.
When I was at the hotel.
Mom didn't say anything other than she suspected you, but it was also up the doctor call, and your doctor didn't want to do anything. Remember?
Dad,
I don't want to argue this. This is 1993. It's ridiculous, Andy.
Okay.
This is 2020.
I get that, Dad. I get that. I'm asking you to please go helping me fix this.
I had to play that whole one out because that's my favorite part of the video, is him just listing off all these things that a doctor must have wrote down in their notes over 30 years ago about Andy. He's like, Dad, it's kind of like a questionnaire type thing. What hospital was this? And what do they specialize in? like he thinks he's a genius, like he's going to catch his dad slipping. Like, motherfucker, like I told you I was autistic. And this diagnosis from like like over 30 years ago is very Christian-y, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like back then, they definitely had a good grip on what autism was, but not like today or nothing, and that's why no doctor of today is finding Andy to be an autistic man, and he's grasping at every straw he can. He's going back from records over 30 years ago and asking his father of all people to verify them so he can then go show it to his new doctor and say, see, ha, put it in their face and tell them I told you so. Because whoever the hell in Tonawanda, New York over 30 years ago told Andy he was, so now everyone's just got to eat it and like it. And yet, I know I say this a lot, but Andy here just driving his dad nuts again is so irritating to me, because I couldn't imagine if my dad was like dealing with something terrible with my mom. And every time he's taking care of her, I call him and I'm like, Dad, Dad, the Wi-Fi's out, Dad. Like, it's unbelievable. And I know, like, he's talking about healthcare and this and that with his dad, a little more serious than a Wi-Fi outage. But in Andy's case, no, it's not. Because he's gonna fuck these things all up anyway. I mean, they're not even in his future. And a good reason why is because he boozes every single resource he can get. The police, a lawyer apparently, probably just a public defender, like any place that'll take him in. And that's just Andy's story. He's not going to ever find a home because of the way he treats every home he has.
Okay, I started having severe behavior issues when I was in first grade. Remember Mrs. Donaldson? How I couldn't finish the school year? And Dr. Sheldon? True or false? That's when the issue started with me. Dad?
Andy, I don't know. Go ahead.
You don't know? How many times did you have to pick me up, or Dr. Sheldon had to come pick me up and drop me off? Or Mrs. Donaldson?
I don't know, Andy. All I know is that you didn't qualify for being at that school. You had to go to a special school. I know.
Well, why did I have to go to a different school?
Board of Education is the one that made the final decision, not Mom.
Okay, but why did I have to go from public school to a special school for it? But is it my behavior issues?
Got scared for you in the class.
Because they couldn't meet my needs. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Well,
you're beating around the bush.
It was your behavior.
You're beating around the bush, Dad. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Around the bush, Andy. I know.
He tries spinning him having behavioral issues into them not being able to meet his needs. Has this been going on for like 35 years? Like, I had kids when I was in first grade who would jump on desks and cry and scream if the teacher wouldn't give them what they want, but I see them today and they're just fine. Andy, like, that doesn't tie with autism. You were probably just a shitty kid. He's expecting his elderly father to remember everything about his, like, first through third grade life over 30 years ago. Yet again, this is just such a piece of shit thing for Andy to do, because he keeps getting, like, upset at his dad. And, like, I think in his mind, he thinks his dad knows the answer to all these questions, or at least the answer Andy wants to hear. And when he doesn't give it to him, Andy's like, no, Dad, that's not it. And his father, who is currently preoccupied with other things going on with his real life and like what's going on with his immediate family, who I do not consider Andy a part of, like, he's going through his shit, and Andy expects him to like drop everything and have a questionnaire on Andy's life from the years of like 1991 to 1994 right there on the spot. You might say, oh, well, it's his son, he should know. Yeah, but fuck that. Fuck that. If I was, I'd call him son and be like, dude, no, just hang up the phone right then and there.
No.
Didn't they not specialize in the autism?
I don't know if they did or not, Andy.
Language development program specializes in autism.
Okay, if you say so, but I don't know.
Public school does not. Well, Dad, what do you think autism is? It's a language and communication disorder.
Okay, I'm not going to get into it.
So, of course, that's what language development does. Because autism deals with language. I'm just trying to tell you that. Because you've been told us over and over again.
Look at. You say what you want to say. I'll listen.
Okay.
I'm not going to say too much because I'm pretty sure Andy's recording and I'm going to put it on YouTube. And I don't want to be involved with that stuff anymore. Remember I told you?
Well, Dad, if you would just listen to some of this stuff and have the two-way conversation and come up with a plan with me how we're going to tackle this.
I don't want to be talking over the phone with this.
Why?
Because I said so. Right, Chewy?
Can you please help me come up with a plan on how you're going to get me help?
You need to help me figure out a plan on how you are going to get me help. That's the most self-centered comment I've ever heard in my fucking life. But this just describes him, yeah? Like, that. This is really how Andy thinks. It's about him. Maybe at the end of the day, if someone else needs something, it's still about him. But listen, his mom's in the hospital. His mom's on her deathbed. Guess what? Him. Like what? Like, she lived a beautiful life. Him. It's all about Andy, and he'll do what he wants. Especially when his dad says, I don't want to talk about this over YouTube, Andy. And Andy just gets silent. He's like, well, Dad, I mean, like, come on. Like, you got to help me out here if I'm going to do that for you, you know? And he does all this after trying to explain to his father what exactly autism is, to give him a better understanding of what Andy's currently going through. Now, I imagine he's done this to his father on countless occasions, but again, it's one thing they wanted to, or at least he wanted to get off the chalkboard before they went any further.
How are we fix this stuff?
How are you going to fix this stuff? I don't know. We'll just...
Because I've been telling you how to fix it because everybody's been saying how.
Andy tried to fix things the last time and it got to be a complete disaster.
Can I please teach you how I need your help?
What you want to say, Andy, because I'm not going to get involved.
Well,
I'm too far away. I'm too old. I'm too sick.
Dad, that's your decision. If you don't want to get involved and you want to leave it up to me to do it all, because you don't want to help me with this stuff so I can get the help I need, then Dad, I have to live with your choices. I can't force you to do anything, and I'm not going to force you. Because I'm done asking for it.
You're telling me what's going on or what you say that's going on.
Because, Dad...
But there's always two sides to the story. What you need to do
how about Dad?
Contact numbers to call these other places to find out what the F is going on, because all of a sudden 1 minute's good, another minute's not. Now
Dad,
you don't need
you're going
diapers,
too much. You're going into too much detail.
Testing, and another minute you just autism. Now it's so flip flop back and forth. Why
I know.
Stay on the schedule?
I get that.
I mean, APS, you remember, is just a government organization.
Dad,
you have to go with what your doctors say.
Dad, that's exactly what I am doing.
He cannot handle being told the truth or somebody even giving him a slight bit of pushback. His dad talking here was constantly interrupted with him just saying, Dad, that's too much. Like, he's trying to help you. Even though he said he's too sick and too old for this, and you gave the most half-assed, oh, well then I'll do it on my own then, because you do not give a shit about your own father being, like, sick in health too, and it's all about him, like I've mentioned many times here. But his dad brought up a lot of good points about how, you know, one day it's autism, one day it's diapers, now you're talking about APS when it's just, like, a government organization, and Andy just can't handle it. He didn't want to hear any of it. He kept saying words so that he doesn't have to respond to it, and when you did hear him respond, he says, yes, I agree to that exactly. I shouldn't listen to APS. It's just everything went in one ear and out the other. Actually, it probably went in no ears because he was probably covering his ears, but he didn't even want to hear it. He's one of those people you have a conversation with, and it's not like a actual conversation. As Andy said earlier, he needs to practice his conversation skills, and actually he does. Because he's one of those people who will be there sitting there talking to somebody and they'll only be thinking about what they want to say. They're not even listening to the other person. They're simply just waiting for them to stop talking so that they can continue whatever rant they were going on. It's a pretty toxic trait some people have, and Andy is exhibiting it here in just his prime time.
What if I told you I know how to go about getting everything done that I need? Because what Juice had come up with. It's the same thing. It's the same. Please let me finish. It's the same thing that a child is born into this world that has issues. Okay, he doesn't talk. The first thing you do is you go to what?
Just checking on you.
Oh.
You doing alright in here?
Yeah, I'm talking to my dad.
Oh, sorry, I'll let you be.
Okay.
I'm out here if you need me, alright?
Are you checking in from what?
I asked you and you told me you don't want me to help you.
I'm still not wet.
Okay.
Well, only because APS was saying that. Only because APS was saying that.
I know, but we're still here to help you.
I know.
Remember I explained they might say something to you, but Will and I are here to help you. It doesn't matter.
That's why I'm trying to tell my dad.
Well, I'm glad that you're very calm today and you're calming down a little bit when somebody tells you something that you don't like. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, well, can I say something?
Yeah.
The reason why I have my dad on the phone is because I don't want to go through APS of anything. I will go through what my doctors are saying I need done. And I won't listen to APS. I'll go through what my doctors want.
Okay, I'll let you guys talk. I'm out here.
Okay.
Alright.
Thanks. I do want your help. I do need your help. It's just APS is saying I don't need it.
I know, but when I ask you, I'm asking you because I want you to be good. I don't want you to get a rash.
Okay.
Nobody wants a rash down there.
No, I agree.
Alright, I'll check on you in like a half hour. How's that sound?
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
So in the beginning there, Andy compared himself to a kid in some way with some like medical terms, and I feel like some of you guys may have went, that was weird, and don't worry, his father will comment on that shortly after. But a nurse walks into his room and asks if he's wet, and he says no, and he says, he's talking to his father about APS and how he doesn't need help, but he actually does need help. Because the second he said he wasn't wet, it kind of hit him. He's like, wait, but I might, you could tell he was like, oh no, I still do want my diaper changed though. And that whole conversation was just gross, talking about his rashes and shit. And it shows what these people have to go through with Andy. He doesn't need this help. He doesn't need to be getting waited on like this hand and foot. This is this person's job. And they actually are there to care for sick people, not Andy, who gets off on the fact that his diaper's getting changed. He completely stopped the conversation with his dad to talk about this, and understandably so. The girl came in to see if he needed a diaper change, but again, he says, oh, they don't want me to have them, then I won't get them, because he's blaming APS on, saying that he doesn't need diapers. That's a really big thing for Andy. It is, because in his mind, how could he ever not just shit in his pants while walking around outside? It's funny too, because he says, Dad, you gotta let me talk, because I'm gonna forget what I'm saying. And then after all this happens, the big talk about diapers with the nurse, and he's like, oh yeah, back to what we were saying.
Hey, Dad.
What now?
When a toddler can't talk.
Don't declare a baby to you.
No, I am, because this is dealing with communication and processing issues. The first thing a child has to go to is, one, they have to get a hearing test. Can they hear or not? Okay. Chances are they can hear. Then they have to get an auditory processing disorder test. Do they have problems processing what they're hearing? I already know I have those issues. I have the records from a little boy showing that I have that issue.
At first when I was listening to that, I thought he was talking about himself as a kid, back in 1993. But when his dad told him not to compare himself to a toddler, and Andy's response was, oh no, I am. And I was like, so he is. He's like, look, all these kids have this, and I'm like them. And it's not like a comment. I know what you guys might be thinking. I might be thinking the same thing. But Andy here, he's just stupid in that sense. I don't think there's anything predatory by him comparing himself to a kid. But yeah, it's just a weird comment to make nonetheless, because you're not a kid. You are a man in your mid to late 30s. You're almost 40. You're like Chris Chan's age. But sickeningly, in his mind, he does probably view himself as a child, someone who's defenseless and they can't fend for themselves. And that's why he gets these nurses to do all this shit for him. I think in his mind, he needs a motherly figure. And when he sees his mother all old and stuff like that and can't take care of him, he's doing this weird shit with nurses. I hope that's not the case, because that makes it even sicker. But there's always a sick, a side effect too that's everywhere you look. This is disgusting that Andy does. The way he talks to his father, the diaper shit, the way he treats nurses, the way he treats everybody. And there's no good in this story. His dad's a cool guy. His brother's a cool guy. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. It's just a meme we have running around here. But, like, other than Andy, this could probably be a pretty, like, normal family. But this creepy bastard keeps messing it up for them. And this phone call goes on for a pretty while longer until Andy decides that he's just had enough.
Because they are telling me that you can't be trusted because of all the things that's in my records from over the years. And I'm trying to point this stuff out so that you can please be one story so I can get the help I need. I already started telling you.
But they don't want to talk about me. That means what you just said.
But Dad, isn't it my right to still have you part of my medical care if I want you to?
I don't know.
Well, I'm asking you because I'm wanting you to be part of my care. To get me the help.
You have to ask them to get permission from them.
They don't need my permission. Because technically I don't have capacity, and it's up to you. And I don't want to be emotionally abused because I'm trying to have a conversation with you without getting upset. I'm just pointing out some things, Dad, because I am not arguing with APS. I agree with APS that my records are all inconsistent. And I have to deal with the consequences of what my parents have done to and told all my providers over the years.
I love that.
And I'm asking for my dad to please listen to me.
As the guinea pig.
Okay, Dad. I'm getting nowheres. I'm getting upset, and I'm asking you for help. I'm going to hang up this call. Please call me back when you want to talk about this. I'm not going to get upset any further. I'm not going to ruin my day because you want to argue and be defensive and abuse me. Goodbye. Give me a few seconds, YouTube. I will be back after these messages.
So in the beginning of that clip, he's saying that the doctors or APS, they don't trust his father because his father has been so inconsistent over the years or something like that. And really, he tries to pin this all on him, that he needs his dad's help, that he needs really anyone's help for anything. Andy, again, can't do nothing on his own. And now it's his dad's fault again because he's been so, like, evil or something over all these years. And it sounds like something Andy would say, like, 100% of the time, because he's always accusing his dad of, like, a million different things across his many YouTube channels. And even at the end of the call there, he's saying, Dad, like, he's had enough of this. I can't take any more of your abuse. Like, dude, it's just such a, like, how can you ever see this guy and not just want to run away? Andy might be the worst person we cover, not in, like, an evil sense, but just as a person. This guy, he's corrupt of, like, any feelings for any other people. It's just him. I said it earlier, but it's always him. And with his dad here, I don't know. I don't know. His dad, he seems like a nice guy who, if Andy was actually, like, trying to work with him, he'd definitely be right there with Andy right now taking care of his boy. But Andy just fucks it up, and he'll never change. Like I say in all these videos, they'll never change, so don't expect Andy to no time soon. But I hope you guys, I hope you watched this video, you know what I'm saying? I always say I hope you enjoy it, but you can't enjoy a video when Andy ditches on screen. So I hope if you did somehow enjoy it, that you come back next time, because we got a lot more of this on the table, ladies and gentlemen. So until that next video, I am out of here, everybody, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.